2 to Mookie Wilson. Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
A 2-1 pitch. And a drive in the air to deep right field. That ball headed toward the wall. That ball is out of here! Out of here! A game-winning grand slam home run off the bat of Robin Ventura.
And it's hit deep to left center. Andrew Jones on the run. This one has a chance. Home run! Mike Piazza, and the Mets lead 3-2.
High fly ball to left. Back at the wall, and the captain's going deep 2-1.
Turner drives one to center, chasing Nimmo back to the warning track right at the fence. He made the catch! Oh, wow! The catch of the year from Brandon Nimmo! He took a home run away from Justin Turner! Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Episode 27. Welcome to the Say Hello podcast. My name is Casey Lynn. I am joined by my co-host, former Met, former Major League pitcher, Bill Pulsifer. And today we have a special guest, none other than the polar bear himself. Pete Alonso is joining us here on episode 27. Pete, welcome to the show. And how are you today, sir?
Thank you. Yeah, doing well. And camp's going super well right now. I have no complaints, and guys are meshing well, and it's been a really exciting spring training so far.
It's good to hear. Before we get into all that, this episode is brought to you by roots-recordings.com. We have Steve White, our producer, on the other side. And so camp is underway, and we took a picture together the other weekend, and people were commenting on it. I threw up on Twitter, X, whatever the hell they call it now, and they were saying how jacked you looked, for lack of a better word, how great of shape that you look in. So with that being said, is there anything that you did differently in the off season, slim down, bulk up? Because, you look like you're in great playing shape.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel good. I'm usually between 240, 245, like in spring training and in the season. And there's no real crazy new thing that I did this off season. I conditioned, focused a lot on just like building up my body regarding strength wise, conditioning wise, agility wise, flexibility wise. I mean, just your stereotypical off season program, and took ground balls, did my throwing program, and hit. It was just pretty much a pretty standard off season and pretty standard build up, but a lot of hard work. I guess thanks for noticing and complimenting. So I guess hard work's paid off.
Yeah, I was kidding around only because Lucy was with us, and if you remember, Lucy wasn't behaving as quite as well as we wanted her to. So we were
being a lab.
Yeah,
I mean, she's excited. She's excited, wanting to love on everybody and see say hello to everyone. That's typical her.
Yeah, and I got as a little special guest actually right now. Lucy, come here, girl.
There she is.
Let me, Lucy, hold on. I got to be careful here so she doesn't knock things over. Lucy, say hi to Pete.
Hi, sweetie.
You see her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, there she is. There's that big snout. Oh.
All right, get away, Dougie. Yeah, that lasted as long as I thought. I was just kidding people. We were both holding on to her so tight that her your muscles were popping out, But I wanted to get into, so Lucy says hello, and now she's, doing her thing wherever. Mm-hmm. I wanted to start off by talking about Lucy and obviously how that all went down, and then we'll segue into the the $1,000 that you're donating to uh, animal rescues across the country. So
Yeah.
um, let's start with Lucy. She's a gem. You told me she was.
Hmm.
Um, and, the story for me on my personal side, it's wild. But I just wanted to get your thoughts because you fostered Lucy, you and your beautiful wife, Haley, fostered her for 2 weeks or so, a little more.
Hmm.
And literally, I've told Bill this saved her life. So if you want to give your thoughts on how that all went down and your thoughts about, sweet old Lucy or sweet young Lucy, that'd be
Hmm.
awesome.
So my wife and I, we have a huge love for animals, and we were notice like we're thinking about like trying to do something with rescues, and we're wondering, it's like, okay, how do we get involved? How do we um, like make a difference? How do we do something on a large scale? And we're just looking through like these certain organizations that or not organizations, but these certain shelters that are kill shelters, and we're looking at the dogs that are on the euthanasia list. And it's really heartbreaking because the vast majority of these animals are there at these shelters because of like us, like because their humans let them down. And I mean, it's definitely a problem in our society and country. And it's really sad to be um, that these loving creatures, like, they deserve homes, and loving humans that are going to take good care of them. And but Lucy had she stuck out because she had the best notes. So on these lists, they have pictures and notes on these dogs, and she just like jumped off the page, like reading, like they the workers at that shelter, they probably spent, I don't know, you could tell they put a ton of care and time. There was at least 6 7 paragraphs on her alone, and she had such a positive effect on those workers at the shelter. Like, man, like, we got to get her out of here. And we called because Lucy was actually supposed to get put down on Christmas Eve, and we're like, okay, this can't happen. This can't happen. I mean, she's such a good looking dog. She's like, she would make an unbelievable life partner for somebody. We need to figure this out. And what we did, we reached out, and we called a couple of different companies, like, hey, it's Christmas, we're not going. So we thankfully called this one transport company. They're like, yeah, well, we got it. Like, this is going to be a Christmas miracle for her. Like, the woman on the phone is like, I have a black lab, or I have two black labs. I have a huge heart for people who are willing to open their heart up to other black labs. So, like, you guys are doing such a great thing. So she set it up, and the driver, she picked her up on Christmas Eve, drove her from Dallas to Tampa uh, in basically like a day and a half.
Wow.
So the shelter, they spayed her and basically put her in the truck, and they just said, all right, like, Lucy, you're on your new life, girl. Congratulations and Merry Christmas. And we got her, and it was really amazing because, like, she couldn't really believe that she was like touching grass and like running around the yard, and she was really wobbly with stairs because I don't think that she'd really experienced like stairs before.
Right.
And like, just receiving love and going on the couch, she's like, what is this, like, what is that, like, this is so like nice compared to like a cold concrete floor at the shelter, because that's all she knew. And who knows um what she knew previously in life as well. So, like, just to have like a blanket, a couch, a bed, like two meals a day, like, it's to see her kind of open up and really show love and affection, and like show more of her own personality. It's such a rewarding experience, and she's such a love bug, and she has so much love to give, and she's such an incredible dog, and the experience of us like fostering is unforgettable. Like for obviously listeners, people watching, highly recommend highly recommend fostering an animal because it is such a rewarding experience. And also too, it's very difficult because you grow attached, you learn to love the dog for who they are. Like you get used to um their quirks and mannerisms. And also we have two other dogs, so it's like she's like kind of figured out like her place in the pack, like her place in the home. And then once you figure it out, you have to realize, hey, listen, like we are a bridge between her old life and her new life, and we want to get her in the best possible mindset and position so she can be the best partner and dog that she could possibly be. And I mean, seeing her is like seeing her happy. Her coat was just super shiny and soft, because before, like she was really patchy, and you could see all of her ribs, but now like she's definitely beefed up. And I mean, she's just like a happy, healthy, and just big old love bug. Like we loved Lucy, we still do, and we hope, Casey, that you're that she's taken care of, and that you continue to love her, and I know that she's gonna love you always.
Yeah, absolutely. She's, like you told me, a gem. That's the first thing that you told me when we were talking about her, and you couldn't be any more close to the truth on that. She's one of a kind, and in the back of my mind, it was like, is this too early to get another dog? Today is 3 months since my Shay passed away. But after speaking to Hallie over the course of the couple of weeks and learning, just like you did, through the notes from the shelter and Haley's passing it along, I was like, Lucy is too good of a dog from all intents and purposes, from what I know, to not, you know, give her the best life that she deserves, regardless if it might be a little too soon for me. And I am so happy that I made that decision because she is a gem, a love bug.
Hmm.
And I could see how you could get a connection with her in just 2-3 weeks because
Yeah.
my goodness, you know.
Yeah, and I'm sure like too, like now that I'm sure like at home, like with you, she's super settled, and I'm sure that she's like just loving every single minute of every day.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah, she is. And Bill actually, he's a dog lover as well. We're all dog lovers here. Bill, do you have 4 dogs,
I have
5?
four. Three of them are rescues, and the fourth we actually took from a family because they had a young baby and they had some issues, so we took on the fourth. So and I don't know,
that's
Pete,
awesome.
I don't know if Casey had told you this, but me and Casey have been doing the show for a while now, and I know that his dog Shay had been sick,
Hmm.
and my all of as somebody that's been through it, and we adopted dogs, and we've also fostered dogs and have dogs fostered out, me and my wife Michelle. So the fact that you and your wife Haley do that, that's insane. It makes me like you as a ball player, even not even as a ball player, even as a man and as a person, as a human being. I just think it's tremendous what you're doing. But
Thank you.
yeah, it's great. It really is. Warms my heart. I was the one that kind of told Casey the best way to get over a dog passing is kind of saving another dog's life, because there's dogs out there that need to have their lives saved. And he
Yeah,
was a little
absolutely.
reluctant at first, but when I heard the story, when he texted me one night, he's like, "I've got an incredible story. You're not going to believe this." And at first, it was kind of hard to believe. And when he first told me I'm getting Pete Alonso's dog, I'm like, "Wait a minute, why is Pete Alonso getting rid of a dog?" And then I found out the story that you saved the dog from a kill shelter. It just
Yeah.
really, it's phenomenal, really phenomenal. And the fact what you're doing for the home runs too is just top notch, man. Really top notch. I tip my cap.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like going through that process, that foster process. Like once you create that bond, it's difficult, but you have to realize that like the foster parents or whoever decides to foster a dog, it's like it's a very rewarding experience. And like I said, it's like you're the bridge between their old life and their new life. And it's super rewarding, and I mean I highly recommend it. I mean, if we didn't travel so much like during the season, I would definitely continue to do it. But like, I mean, that's something that Haley and I are probably going to continue to do in the off seasons whenever we're settled in a place like for extended period of time. Like we're definitely more than open to help be that bridge for other
That's awesome.
dogs and being a part of that process, like knowing like okay, you gotta figure out transportation, the spaying and neutering, if the shelter doesn't provide it, how do you get that done as quickly and safely as possible? Obviously treats, food, beds, blankets, toys, medications. I mean, now that like going through that like process and having that checklist, that's really kind of it's going to really help going through finding different rescues and organizations um, through the vetting process, because like for us we want to be able to rescue as many dogs and animals as we possibly can. Hopefully we can get to over 200 this year. That would
Yeah.
Is your
hopefully, I mean,
is your wife like my wife? My wife on a semi-daily, if not daily basis, will send me a photo of a dog that's at a rescue and say, "I want to go help this one. I want to go help that one." My wife's doing it all the time, and I'm like, you know me, bring them
yeah.
on, bring them in. Bring them in. We'll try to do what we can, and if not, they usually end up staying here. But we rescued 3 from Puerto Rico a year and a half ago, and 2 of them we got adopted within days, and we ended up actually keeping the third, and that's my guy, Mr. Dan. And I
Hmm.
just, it's something that we've always been into, always had dogs. And it's great to know that, there's more people out there, especially high profile people that can bring more awareness to it, to the masses. I think it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're angels in fur coats.
They're
Yeah.
better than a lot of humans. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always say we don't really deserve dogs,
Right.
because they're
Right.
just unconditional, sweet, they're just four-legged creatures that we're so lucky to. It's not a long time, unfortunately, but and they make the best of it, the most of it. Um, so before this podcast turns into the Dog Hello podcast, I wanted to wrap up. It went viral when you had your press conference at Clover Park and you announced, Pete, that you are donating $1,000 to animal rescues around the country. Um, First off, thank you, for that gesture and your generosity. It is unbelievable that you're doing that. The comments that I saw just from other fan bases were that you would never see, because you know how it is with other fan bases. We're like, you know what, Pete, hit 100, because we're dog lovers. Um, Thank you for me, genuinely. It's such a great, unbelievable thing that you're doing, and I was just wondering. Obviously you're a dog lover, so this is, close to your heart. How did this all come together? And I could also just speak on one last thing. When it comes to fostering and what you said about you supplying toys and, everything that you said at the press conference, I can vouch for Pete Alonso that he does this because I adopted after him fostering Lucy, and Pete, all the blankets, the dog bed, the cage, food. I mean, you name it, Pete and Haley were on it. So again, thank you,
Thank
and
you.
I can vouch that this is an unbelievable thing, and they're true to the word. So I was just wondering how this all came about because simply it's amazing.
Well, Lucy inspired it, and hopefully other people can join. And I know that for us, like it's limited, but with how many we can like save personally and get out, just because of like the nature of the baseball schedule. But if we can I honestly the whole purpose is just to get those rescues into those kill shelters and get dogs out of there, and whatever space that those rescues have is to like bring them back or find pet sitters, fosters, or hopefully forever homes. Like I know like the logistics of it. That's a big deal. Like going down and making sure not just like the food, the treats, and the toys are important, but like if the dog has any medical issues, whether that's like a flea and tick thing, or they have a rash, or they have a cut, or they're still young and they need like either spaying or neutering. Like there's a whole thing. So like that's the reason like going through that process with Lucy, it's like, wow, this isn't just like a, hey, go pick the dog up and give it food. No, like there's a lot of things. So like that's why when we want to find these rescues, like we want to see like how well equipped are you? I mean, the reason why we're donating 1,000 per home run is because we understand like this takes a lot of effort, a lot of time, and I mean takes. I mean, surgeries aren't free, meds aren't free, like all that stuff. Even though, like it's great we're getting dogs out, but also we want to make sure that they're in the best possible care as well. Like after they're rescued and they're rescued out of the shelter and they're in a place like temporarily, whether that be with again like a foster or they're back at the headquarters of the rescue or if they're at like a pet sitter. So we just want to make sure that every dog that's out of there is in the best possible health care as they possibly can be.
Yeah. Again, it's amazing. When I heard you say it, I kind of jumped out of my seat because I lived it with you and Haley and Lucy. Just how like knowing how much you love dogs. You have two of your own, and the connection
Yeah.
that you have with Lucy. And anyone that's a dog lover or has any type of compassion in the world has to love this idea. So, me being a Mets fan and being a Pete Alonso fan before all this, I hope that you hit 300 home runs just for
Thanks.
the animal's sake,
Be
but
a heck of a year too.
yeah, that would be a heck of a year. So again, thank you. And guys, if you're listening on the Shalo podcast audio, follow us. We're on all platforms. And you heard the man, Pete Alonso. It is rewarding to foster a dog. It is. You heard the man. And if you're watching on our YouTube channel on Shalo Media, you saw Pete Alonso say, foster a dog. It is rewarding. So it's coming from Pete Alonso himself. So take that and do what you want with it. Pete has been great throughout the entire process and couldn't be happier with it.
Thank you. But also too, it's rewarding, but it's not easy
Yeah.
emotionally, and then also it is work. I will be completely forthcoming with that. But on the other side, and when you get to see the animal just thrive and open up and come out of their shell, and not only like be be loved, but willing to give love, because like at the first part of their lives or whatever, like they just haven't really received it, and or like for us humans they think of us as bad. When they see humans they think bad, but for them to open up and like, hey, listen, maybe not all of them are bad. It's like I just got dealt a really bad hand, and I just like to see them open up like that. That's the most rewarding part, and come out of their shell and trust and love. It's the coolest thing.
Pete
Yeah,
gets it. He gets it.
yeah. Pete definitely gets
He
it.
gets it.
So,
It's awesome.
that Bill as a dog lover, I'm a dog lover. And I'm sure all the people watching and listening, for the most part, they're an animal lover in some shape, form. So again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for Lucy, and thank you for all you do for
Yeah, of
doing
course.
this. Uh, we could talk about dogs probably for another 2 hours, but we do have to move on. Met fans, have a lot of questions and want to get to know Pete Alonso, the person, as well. So the first one, your mom, she
Hmm.
played softball, and correct me if I'm wrong at any time, at Ohio Wesleyan University.
Yep.
And I was wondering, do you think that you get your baseball genes from your mom who played?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, my mom, I mean, played softball in college, and my dad, he was a three sport athlete in high school.
Oh wow.
He played football in college until he blew out his knee. So, um, I mean, my parents were always encouraging me to be super active. I mean, both my mom and my dad, like they played sports. They're active growing up, and for me, I played a ton of sports growing up. I played football, lacrosse, basketball, soccer, baseball. I mean, love baseball, love football, love lacrosse. Those are my favorite three. But I think honestly, like baseball. Yes, I was blessed with with a with a couple of tools. And but honestly, like that's where my heart always truly has been. Like football is a great sport. Highly recommend uh kids play it. Same with lacrosse, basketball, soccer. Like parents out there who are watching and listening, like get your kids in everything. Like um yeah, get them on ice skates. Have them play hockey. Have them figure skate. Have do everything. Swim. Like play everything, field hockey, rugby, everything. Like just because it not only for the athletic ability, I mean that's all secondary, but you get a whole different group of friends, like, and it's seasonal. You're not
It's
just
true. Yeah.
doing the same thing over and over and over again. So like for young kids, like it's great socially, and also like being on different teams, like you learn how to bond and work together for a common goal. I think it's like youth sports are really, really incredible, and play them all.
Yeah, no, you make a good point. As a kid, you get to meet other friends, growing up as well with all the different sports that you are participating on. So, never thought of that. Uh, you mentioned your father. So again, correct me if I'm wrong. Your dad moved from Barcelona. Yeah, I don't know the age that he did, and he moved to Queens. I read. Is
Yeah,
that Grandpa?
yeah.
Okay,
So my grandpa,
Queens of all the places.
so my great, so my grandpa moved to New York. So so that's when Spain was in kind of not the best situation because Nazi Germany was like doing a bunch of like they were doing kind of like their testing before World War II on like they were you had obviously you had conservatives and then communisms and then like you had the Nazi support in Spain. So my great grandpa took his family. It's like, all right, we're in New York now. This is our home base. My grandpa, so he actually, so eventually as soon as he became of age, he enlisted and then he went to Africa,
Wow,
then Italy, and then he had a occupation. So yeah, this was really cool. Like he had an occupation medal in Africa and in Italy, which was
wow,
really crazy to find.
right, wow, that's amazing.
Um, yeah, then he graduated from NYU, and when he was there at NYU, he didn't know how to type, so naturally he found the best looking receptionist because they knew how to type, and then that was my grandma,
Wow, yeah. So,
and my
you
dad was
know,
born in Queens.
okay, yeah.
Awesome.
That leads me to my question. Do you think that maybe subconsciously or consciously, because you know all this, that your love for New York with your dad, Queens, your grandpa, moving to New York after everything that happened that you explained, you think it affects maybe how you think about New York as the state and the people and the culture,
Yeah, I
things
mean,
like that?
I still have I have cousins out on Long Island. Like it's, but for me, like one of the most special things about New York was, I mean, my grandpa never got to see me play in the big leagues, but it was so amazing. So when I played for the Cyclones, he was, came like we were in Brooklyn, like eating an Italian meal like in Brooklyn and like just seeing like that spark in his eye. We never got to go in the city, but just being around Brooklyn, like he grew up a Dodger fan, which was like really, really like he's like I remember listening to the radio at this like Polish diner, like on like Flatbush or whatever, and the game would be like blaring on the radio, and it's like he just like being in Coney Island and being in Brooklyn and then like going around like to different places, like he just had this like it's like because I think he was like 94, 95, and it's like
Wow.
he was he was walking around with a walker, but he was walking around with like swag, like going around like he had this twinkle in his eye and this swag about him, but he's like, man, he's like, this is, you could tell he was like going down memory lane and like seeing how things changed, but also too it's like even though things change, so much stays the same. And
Yep.
for him, he was you could see he was relishing every moment because he was just enjoying the now. And it was, I don't know, it was really cool.
Probably
Yeah.
pretty proud too. I bet. Probably pretty
Yeah,
proud of his grandson. You
yeah,
know.
Yeah,
yeah.
I would think so, definitely. That's an amazing story. And you mentioned well, you did mention it, but I want to get to it just because I'm taken back from all of that story. I didn't know most of it, and kind of blown away. But he didn't get to see you play at the major league level. But the next question, and I know you've touched on it upon it, and it's very dear to your heart. On somehow, some way, this opening day for you, personally, for Pete Alonso, will be the first March 28th at Citi Field. Will be the
Hmm.
first one that you will have fans in the stands to be at the home opener since 2018.
Well, yeah,
Which
yeah.
unbelievable.
So yeah, it's like, so yeah, people think like, yeah, opening day at City Field, but like for us ball players, it's like it's not, because we played a full week, or it's like
Right.
we've played a full week,
Not
so it's
opening
like,
day.
yeah, it's not the official opening day, first day of the season, actual
Right.
first day of the season. So game one of 162 at City Field is going to be amazing because, yeah, I mean, I haven't had that experience as a Met yet. And I mean, it's been this is my 6th year on the big league team, and it's like it's kind of crazy that it hasn't
Hasn't happened.
lined up like that, because we've had so many road starts. But yeah, this one's going to be extremely special.
I feel like they should do it every other year. Game one home opener. And rotate it because
That'd make
I
a lot of
understand.
sense.
It really would, but we won't go there with what makes sense
Yeah,
and
I
what
think I
doesn't.
think I catch your drift there a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, 2020 we don't count. Obviously, that was supposed to be a home opener with fans, but we cannot. 2020 didn't happen. In my head,
Right.
and so yeah, I mean, you're probably so stoked to have 45,000, whatever the capacity, 48,000, whatever the capacity is at Citi Field, and
Hmm.
that's you got to be super stoked for that. So I'm happy that you finally get that after 6 years. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Um,
No, I'm juiced. I'm really excited, and yeah, it's gonna be a really fun time, really fun experience.
Speaking of the fans, I wanted to know, and a lot of Met fans also, earlier this year, and it's only been a week or two in spring training. Is LFGM back for Pete Alonso?
Yeah, I've always been doing it.
I didn't. I thought it went away last year. I didn't. After you had your interviews after games, like you'd always sign off like back in 21 or with LFGM. Maybe I'm wrong, but I felt like it came back this year. I could be easily wrong.
No, yeah, I've
Always been
always,
here?
yeah. I
Uh,
mean, maybe like, I mean, there's obviously certain like situations
oh
like
yeah,
where it's okay to say it, but obviously, like if things aren't going the right way, like, which, I mean, things really didn't in the second half of the year, especially after the trade deadline. It's
yeah,
like, if I'm getting an interview in a game, and if I have a good game and like we lose, and it's like, okay, I can't
not
really,
time. Yeah,
yeah, not like bad timing. Or if it's like a great team win, if it's like an awesome team win, and like mood's good, and like we got momentum, and things are, yeah, it's typically after a great team win or like something like that. Like, yeah, of course, I mean, that's the time. But if I have to talk and we get blown out, then
yeah.
it's not
There's a
really not really the
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. There's a time and place for everything. I get it. I just
Yes.
maybe because 75 wins last year, and we lost Bill, but he'll be back any minute. He knows what he's doing. Um, you know, uh, I guess it's always been there. So maybe I tuned it out as a fan because there weren't, like you said, opportune times to do it all the time. But I'm happy
Yeah.
it's back. That I've realized so soon. At
Never went
least.
anywhere.
No, I know that's my bad. So I'm just happy it never went anywhere. And I just when I heard it, I perked up. Maybe because it was so long. Because the second half last year is what it was. So.
Yeah.
Um, That leads me to another question. We discussed this off the air in 2019 for you, your rookie year, and how much you wanted to make the team out of spring training. And I was just getting for the fans who are listening right now. Um, a lot of teams, as we know, with their big prospects, don't have to have their big prospects at that time make the team for manipulation reasons and service time and all that. But you made the team in 2019. If you didn't, you wouldn't be a free agent this year. So you did make the team, and I just wanted to get how like I remember you were amazing in spring training and obviously made it because of your hard work. Just take us through, if you can, uh, 2019 spring training and
Yeah.
the jubilation you had when you finally made the team, and here you are in the big leagues.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. So the team anytime within those first 3 years, they could have sent me down at any time to gain that. So it's not just if I get called up, there's a potential, but if I would have got sent down at any time, they could have had that extra year. So, but
Right.
um, honestly, the best way to solve that issue, and obviously that's a genuine concern, not just for me, but any prospect or player that's in that similar position where non 40 man roster invite, but you got a shot to make the team either out of camp or eventually down the road in the year. You got to play with your hair on fire. It's simple as that, and you don't have room to make mistakes, or if you make one, you better make a play with your glove, or you better drive someone in late in the game when it matters. And those three. Those, not just that spring training, but every spring training and um, I guess every single year, you got to play with your hair on fire because, again, you don't want to give anybody an excuse, or it's like, hey, like, yeah, I know, great year, but the following year it's like, listen, you gotta show us something, and same year following.
Right. You don't take it for granted at all.
No,
Yeah.
no, I never have, and again, like, you see, like, things can happen fast when things turn south. So I'm always working hard, and I'm always motivated to be the best version of myself for the team. Because if for me, it's like, I don't want to be like, I put in so much hard work, and ultimately my performance and everyone's performance helps the collective. If everyone has a good game, we're going to win. If nobody has a good game, we're going to lose. Obviously, there are some instances where one guy just absolutely takes over and drives in all the runs that day, but typically, like, over the course of the season, there's maybe five, six, seven of those games where it's like, oh, that's the game where so and so took over. But
Hmm.
over the grand total of the season, everybody has to do their part. And I just for me, like, even now, it's like, I just want to be the best player I can be. So I'm not like, I want to help the team. I want to play my part. And I'm just a how the team is. It's just like a car motor. Every single thing, every component has to be doing its job in order for everything to run. If one thing's off, then you're going to have problems somewhere else. Everything has to be working together simultaneously in an efficient way for the wins to happen.
Did you ever? I mean, the answer's got to be no freaking way. But did you ever think in 2019 you would have the year that you had, breaking the Mets' all-time season single record for home runs, the rookie home run record, everything? I mean,
At the
rookie of the
start,
year, all of that.
that wasn't even in my mind. I was just playing for tomorrow, playing for today, where it's like, do what I can today so I can stay in the big leagues tomorrow. Everything was just, I was just so focused on just, like, keeping my roster spot, and
Right.
yeah, just doing my part every single day. And I was motivated, extremely, extremely motivated, and um, yeah, I was extremely motivated to keep my spot.
Yeah. That 53rd home run. Do you still have it? The ball.
I do, yes. Yeah, and I did realize I hit my 40th home run in Kansas City. I think it was like the end of the third week in August, and then I'm like, I got a shot.
Oh yeah, in
I got,
August
I got, I
40.
got a
Yeah,
shot, and I was like, okay, all right, like, and also too, what really helped me was we were chasing down the Nationals, I believe,
yep,
for that last wild card spot. So, if the team does well, I do well. If I do well, the team does well. So it's just one of those things where like we were chasing down a playoff spot, and I wasn't trying to hit those home runs. Like those home runs just happened because we're in a playoff race, so we're trying to hunt down the closest team, and we were playing really good baseball. We are playing really good team baseball, and it was really fun. It was really really
yeah.
fun.
I remember that. I think at one point at the end of the year, you guys went like 16-2.
Hmm.
Towards September. I remember Todd Frazier's walk off 3-run home run down the line. By
Yep.
the left field pole.
Sean
Um,
Doolittle. Yep.
yep, against Doolittle. I mean, that was amazing. I was there, and I was like, okay, this team is like got something's going on. Maybe 10 more games left in the season. If it was a 172 game season, you guys would have made the playoffs. But that was a fun year. JD Davis with I think he had the home record for the highest OPS at Citi Field ever. It was like he
Yeah.
took over as well. That was a fun year. Just 10 more games.
I know. I know. I mean, if you look, it was really cool because getting Stroman at the deadline was big. Joe Panic had a ton of huge at bats for us, playing great second base. Jeff went on an absolute tear. Dom had a really good second half. And then also too, one of the coolest things is last at bat of the season, he hits a walk off homer, first only at bat.
I know.
Only at
Never.
bat he had in like 2 months. It was like last one of the season. He parks one and we walk it off to end the year. But
It
I mean
was.
that the end of 19, it was like, man, like that was like you could definitely see the potential of that group.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Met fans I mean, I remember Don Smith home run there, and he's just jubilation running third base, and his helmet, I believe, was off already at that point, and
Hmm.
it was almost because if you remember, you do, he was had his scooter from the injury, so he's before he obviously was activated. So to have that end the year was kind of bittersweet because you didn't want the year to end, but you were so happy for Dom.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you agree with this. Dom is one of those players that wherever he goes, for Met fans, I could speak. I think we will always root for Dom because he's just genuinely such a great guy.
Yeah, he's really good people. He's really really good people, and yeah, he's one of those. He's got a very positive outlook, and he's got a very infectious personality where it's you can't help but smile and laugh around him.
Speaking of Dom and not so much Dom, off the top of your head, being in the majors for 6 years now, do you have any pranks that you can recall that stick out to you? I watched Bull Durham the other night, and Major League is such a great movie, and the pranks are always baseball. 162 games and 183 days. You're a family for 8 months out of the year. Any pranks that would that come about off the top of your head? And if not, that's totally
Um,
fine because you know uh, we could keep it PG as well. you know.
no, I mean, there's no like pranks because I think yeah, there's really no pranks, but it's just more of the more guys like joking around and just being one of those things. I think for me is one of the scarier things as a rookie is having to sing in front of the bus. That was frightening.
Well,
What did you
good thing
sing?
that was 6 years ago. You don't have to do that again.
Yeah.
What song did you sing,
Thank
Pete?
God. No, I'm kidding. I never heard you sing. so, um, I wanted to ask you this as well for Met fans and the listeners. Uh, why are Met fans in your mind? Because you've been open about how much you love Met fans, and putting on the jersey and wearing the name and the number. Why are Met fans to Pete Alonso so great? If you could just sum that up in your opinion, real quick.
Well, I mean, just you could just see the passion, And I mean, it's just flat out like Mets fans are ride or dies, and I love that. And to have that support is amazing. I mean, you can't ask for anything more.
Yeah, no, you're right. Passion is there. They cheer. Unfortunately, Met fans, some, not all, boo. But they're definitely ride or dies. Nothing. You said this, and it's a perfect segue. I'm sure you remember it was years ago that all you want is to be on a float during the parade, drinking beer, celebrating a world championship. I don't know. Do you remember saying that? I think,
Yeah.
and how much now that it's your sixth year and you're basically a veteran at this point, how much more do you want that, knowing that you tasted postseason and you see the core that you have, the prospects that are coming up? How much does Pete Alonso want that now?
Well, I don't just want it now. I want it now and later.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole goal is to win a championship, but um, getting through you got to earn your right to get to the postseason, and then you got to outlast everybody when it comes to crunch time out there in October. So that's just something that just as a whole group we have to earn, and that's something that throughout the course of the year we'll find out who we are as a team. We'll find out how gritty we are, and we'll find out our true identity once the season starts. And that's but yeah, I want it now and later.
So you beat me to my next question before we get to the mailbag. I was going to ask you your expectations coming into the 2024 season, but you kind of alluded to it. Good core, you'll see what happens. Is there anything that sticks out early to you, vibes wise, new players that are in that you have high hopes for the 2024 team?
I mean, everyone's been like not just working hard, but working diligently, working very. Everyone's just super self aware of what they have needed to improve upon this past off season, and I think like as camp goes on, like God willing, we keep everyone healthy. I mean, health is wealth, especially in baseball, and we just need people to stay healthy and just always keep playing for each other. And once we get to the regular season, we'll understand what it's like to face adversity. And I'm excited to see like how we like take on the regular season. I mean, that's getting through spring training is one thing, but then going full steam ahead for 162, it's a journey, and
Yep.
I'm excited to take that journey with this group because like we have a lot of great talent, we have a lot of great personalities, but um, nothing in the postseason is guaranteed. um, you just have to get there. Have to get there. Nothing in the regular season's guaranteed. That's the lovely thing about baseball is
Yep.
whoever's in front of you, just beat them that day. And if we can do that, probably I don't know, like more probably 2/3 or 70% of the time during the regular season, then that'd be great. But well, I mean, it doesn't matter if we win the division or in the last place in the wild card, as we've seen. Like regarding who wins and who loses, like as long as you're in, you got just as much of a chance as the next team. So for us, like we got to earn it. We got to earn every step of the way to have that opportunity to play for a championship.
Yeah, Bill and I have discussed this many times. In a couple episodes, I said um, every team is going to win 60, every team is going to lose 60. It's what you do with the other 42 games that will make or break your season. And,
Yeah, so true.
it's a classic line in baseball. And we saw with the Diamondbacks last year, who won 84 games, went all the way to the World Series. Mets go 27-15 in those 42 games. You're looking at 85 wins right there that gets you into the dance more than likely in a
Hmm.
wild card capacity. So
Yeah.
it's
And then
possible.
Phillies in 2022, they were the last team in.
Yep,
Like again, like
just get in.
it doesn't matter. You just need to get in and roll the dice and see what happens.
Yeah. We're gonna go right into the mailbag for time purposes, and the other questions maybe we'll throw that into the last segment coming after the mailbag, which is called quick pitches. But we owe it to the listeners to get their question ins for the polar bear. There were a lot of questions asked for Pete, and I narrowed it down to 4 or 5. So I want to thank everyone who submitted their questions for Pete. Unfortunately, we couldn't get to every single one. But we do this every episode on the Say Hello podcast. Usually the questions are for Bill, being the former Major League player, and nothing for me. But today will be.
That's fine. That's
Sorry,
fine.
Bill. For Pete Alonso.
I enjoy them
Are you
so
okay
far.
with that, Mr.
I'm
Pulsifer?
sorry for the technical difficulties, but I'm upset that I've missed a little bit of this so far. It's been great.
Well, there's good news. We're going to air it, in a day or two. So you're on it, and you get to watch it or listen to it.
I don't know what happened.
And you're back on anyway. So technical difficulties aside. All right, Pete, you ready for the first question?
Far away.
All right, first question is from NYMGI. He goes, with the historic start to your career with power, how often do you ever think about reaching 500 home runs or other major milestones?
Honestly, I I don't really think of like career milestones until like the off season. But just looking at like being on pace for certain things, it's really cool. But also too, like you can't predict the now and you can't predict the future. So the only thing that I can really do is just play hard and stay on the field for as long as possible.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Thank you for the question, JK, as he goes by on Twitter X. Next question is from Stacy NYC at Hustle Diva One. She goes, Pete, what is your favorite thing about living in New York during the season, and what is your favorite thing about playing in New York? LFGM.
Well, I love how there always is something going on. I mean, obviously you have like some of the best food in the world. I love like just certain events. So I like the U.S. Open. I love the U.S. Open. I love going to Rangers games at the Garden. Like, haven't gone to a Knicks game yet, but that's
Ooh.
definitely on the bucket list. I mean, New York just has like this buzz. Whether it's like some like major concert thing, it's not only like just work focused. It's like there's so many incredibly fun things to do in the city that don't take away from my job. Where it's like okay, like I got done at like let's say I get done with a game on Saturday, which is like at 4 o'clock, so 7 o'clock, and okay, yeah, I got
You got
yeah,
time.
yeah, I got time. Oh, Rangers are playing tonight. Let's go. Absolutely. Like I love how easy like there's so much cool things where you don't have to like go or drive or it's like everything's just right there and like there's just so many incredible things to experience obviously I mean just from like a super touristy thing, yeah, I mean the Met is incredible. I haven't done the Statue of Liberty Ellis Island in a while, but that's super fun. I mean there's just so many historic and incredible places to visit as well, like it's just this city has it all.
Yeah, it is, in my opinion, the best city in the world, and you nailed some good things about it. So, thank you for the question, Stacy. Great answer, Pete. We'll keep it moving. About 3 more. We got Steve NYFD and 917. Steve asked, "Hey Pete, huge fan and dog lover. What is your favorite jersey to wear? Blues, home whites, the black? Thank you."
Oh, the black for sure. The
I
black,
knew you were
no,
going to
no
say, yeah,
doubt.
yeah. No, you were the ones we talked about it the other weekend that advocated to get the black jerseys back, right?
Yeah, I mean the black jersey is iconic. Like that's so
They
like
were,
that
yeah.
is like that is the black jersey. It's like authentically Mets, and like that should be like that's ours. You know, like we should always have that in the rotation.
I totally agree. And part of my best memories as a fan, 99, 2000 Subway Series, they wore the black jerseys. So,
Hmm.
good luck comes with it, with the Piazza, iconic home runs, and the Hampton, winning the NLCS,
You
and
guys are still
Yeah.
good
young.
things come with it. So I'm right there with you. Bill,
Yeah.
you were on the
You know
2000
how I feel.
Mets.
I like the one. I like the one over. What's
You
that
were
again?
on the 2000 Mets. Did you wear?
Yeah, we had the black jerseys. We actually
Did you
we
ever wear
brought
a
it in.
black
Yeah,
jersey
we actually at the time were wearing
with the?
blue spikes and black spikes. See, when we wore black, we had to wear the black belts and the black spikes, and we wore either the blue tops or the pinstripe tops, which is my favorite. I think it's the best home uniform in baseball. We would wear the blue spikes, so it was kind of getting
Yes.
a little confusing. You had to make sure you had your blue spikes and your black belts and your blue belts and your blue socks and your black socks. So it got a little confusing at times. I know the blue jerseys was a big thing last summer. It seemed
Yeah,
like you guys
Bill.
had the
There's
blue
a lot.
jerseys on quite a bit at home.
Yeah, blue jerseys I really like, but my favorite, one of my
Oh, they're
favorite
so
jerseys
beautiful.
we
They
got rid
really
of
are.
is the blue road jerseys. Um, yeah, so the blue road jerseys,
Oh,
they were the numbers on the inside were gray with orange piping, and
is
it
that
was or
the
like the orange
is that
outline.
the BP
I miss
top still
those. I
like
miss
that
those a
on the
lot.
road? Because that was our BP top on the road when I was a Met was that jersey, the blue with the silver gray with the orange around it. I thought that was a beautiful looking uniform. I like it better than the home one.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
well, now we're just only gray on the road. So like that road blue, I'm really pushing for us to
And now
get back because we're only
I
grays on
do
the
have a
road right
question
now.
about the uniform selection
It's
because it
kind
used
of.
to always be the starting pitcher. Is that not a thing anymore? Or is that still a thing?
Well, I mean, I think now, so we're allowed to wear the blacks. I mean, now it's like through like MLB, but so the only two times we're allowed to wear the blacks any day other than
Gotcha. And
Saturdays and Sundays.
Kirsty's pretty anal as a clubby too, right?
So
She's
is
on
that?
top of everything.
Oh yeah, I mean Kirsty's on top of everything, but honestly, whatever the
Still the
starting
thing.
pitcher
Okay, cool,
wants to
awesome.
wear, that I mean that's
I
what we're
wondered because I
wearing.
saw the blue jerseys a lot at home last year, not as much
Is
as the
that breaking?
pinstripes.
But also too, like
Of
if
course,
we're
we're not
wearing
changing.
if we're
Yeah, we're
winning
not
games,
changing.
like hey,
Absolutely.
we're riding that jersey.
Is that breaking news that the blacks are now allowed to be worn not just on Fridays, but you could wear them every day, but Saturday, Sunday at home?
I don't think so.
I didn't,
I think we wore them a couple times last year
okay,
during the week. But yeah, I think yeah we're allowed to
that's
wear the blacks whenever as long as it's not the weekend.
right.
Excuse me.
Okay. Yeah, blacks, I love those jerseys, just are fire. They're just legit fire. So I'm with you. Let's get through the last two questions. We got Yosef underscore G. Yosef asks, how do you go about dealing with all the tough questions that are thrown your way by the NY reporters?
Well, I so we have a great media team and training with the Mets, and then also too, yeah, I get so my agent, they typically like make me aware of some certain things, but honestly, it's just being polite and being forthcoming and being simple.
Goes with the territory,
Yeah,
right?
that's a good way to look at
It's
it.
part of being a New York a player. Yep.
Yeah, and accountability. Yeah, forthcoming, accountable, and polite. That's it.
Yeah, Bill, when he was top prospect back in the day, Bill was the
Well, I
you
probably
explain how
talked a
you
little
were,
bit
Bill. I
too
don't want
much,
to
and
put
the
words in
reporters
your
knew that,
mouth.
so they could always come to me for a little bit of a soundbite. But like we've talked about in the past, when you look at Lindor and you look at Pete, those are guys that stand at their locker every single night, win, lose, or draw, and it will be the pros that they are. And it comes with the business, it comes with the territory, and they both understand that, and he's a professional, and so is Lindor. Those are professionals, and it comes with playing in New York, and they do a great job of handling it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Yeah, you and Lindor, well, every day. It's not easy to do that for, the duration of the year. So hats
Well, it
off
was
to you
always the
guys for
same.
doing
Stand,
that,
you
especially
got to
the
stand at
leaders
your
that you
lockers.
are.
Be at your locker and be accountable. Be accountable for it. It's part of your job.
Hmm.
We got the last question. It came from Instagram, and it is from Hayden. And Hayden wants to know, Pete, who is your favorite Met of all time and why?
Oh, Mike Piazza for sure. Just so I mean, I did a tiny bit of catching growing up. I played catcher, third base, and first base growing up. But I mean, my favorite baseball players of all time are Mike Piazza and Mark McGwire. Those are my two favorite guys, and I love the way they swung the bat. I love obviously how far they could hit it, but those guys are not just like power hitters; they're artists at the plate. They were masters of their craft, and they're really generational talents.
Yeah, Mike Piazza's mine, and
I
you
see the
just made a lot
smile
of
on your
Met fans
face there,
happy with
Casey.
that answer because I can't. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love Met.
Mike's the man too. Getting to know him is really really cool. But
That's awesome.
Mike's been awesome.
That's going to do it for the mailbag. I want to thank everybody who submitted questions. Unfortunately, Pete's a busy man. We can't get to all of them, but thank you, Pete, for answering the ones that we had for you. We do this every podcast on Twitter or X. At Shay_hello. We ask for questions for Bill or me. We'll read them live on the air like we just did for Pete, and we'll go from there. So thanks again for answering them. We're going to go into our last segment, Pete, and it's called Quick Pitches. And Bill and I made this up on the spot as we got to know each other, and this podcast went. We've gone through months and months of it. Usually, what it is 3 questions and not baseball related, and he doesn't know what's coming, and it's the
Fire,
best.
let's
It's the
do it.
best one. You know what's coming. I think so. I want to keep it baseball wise. But and you did answer. So for this quick pitches, I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask baseball related, but
Okay,
I just want to let the listeners, if they're listening for the first time, for
You
next
don't want to miss
episode,
quick pitches,
quick
right,
pitches
Casey?
is always fun.
You never know what you might hear.
No, Pete, for example, last episode that we did quick pitches because it doesn't have to be Major League Baseball related. The question for Bill was, "What is the first thing you do after you come home from a long road trip?" His answer was, "Take a shit," and I was just it got like 10,000 views. It went viral, and
It's true. I mean,
Bill's like,
there's a
"Hey,
chance.
it's true."
There's a real
So
good
that's quick.
chance.
So this will be. I'm gonna basically just fire off some questions and quickly just whatever comes off the top of your head.
right on.
All right. Funniest teammate with the best sense of humor that you've encountered.
Jeff,
The
Flying
squirrel.
squirrel.
yes.
Favorite meal. The
Squirrely
flying
Dan. I
squirrel.
like
My
that.
Squirrely
apologies.
Dan, I like to call him.
I like that too. Favorite meal.
Steak.
Okay. Uh, favorite movie.
Favorite movie? Saving Private Ryan.
Ooh, good one. Uh, favorite genre of music. Could be.
So I love all sorts of genres. I've been super in on country. I've been listening to a lot of rap, but there's 2 artists I've been listening to a ton. So one, they're called Cannons, and then the other one is Tosh Sultana. So Tosh is an absolute like wicked guitar player. Um, she's like the modern day Jimi Hendrix. She absolutely shreds. And
Wow.
cannons are kind of like just super vibey, like very calming. But if you those are the 2
Can I throw a
musical
quick one
artists
in?
I'm listening to right now.
What's the walk
Very
up
cool.
song this year?
So
Already
you,
selected? You already know what you're going with?
yeah.
You don't have to give it away.
I spent so there's a running joke in baseball where like um guys like are getting bigger, better, faster, stronger in the off season, but a lot of the times like guys are the number one priority is like what the hell is my walk up song going to be next year? So you're darn right. It took
We
me
don't want
all
to
five
spoil it.
months to figure this out, but
All
I'm
right.
no, no. I'll say it. I mean, it's everyone or a lot of people know this song. It's going to be song by
Yeah,
George Thorogood, and it's going to be
that's a good
called
one.
"Bad to the Bone." That's what I'm walking out to.
Now you got to
I like it.
choose which
Yeah.
Yeah.
portion of the
Is
song you're
that
going to actually have played, right?
Oh yeah, it's so now with the time clock, you got like only I think 8 seconds. You can't walk slow and let it marinate and let the speakers play.
right? Or strike
Now
one,
it's got
right?
to be
Yeah,
quick.
there you
So I
go.
got to
There you
pick
go.
the best 8 seconds of that song. And obviously, it's
Yep.
the beginning. You know that
Yeah.
beginning riff.
That'll hit.
Ba-ma-na-na-na.
That'll hit in the
It's
Yeah.
stadium. That'll hit nice.
That's a
everyone.
good.
Everyone will know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
But if there's no
iconic.
Get it
hits in
out.
if
Get
there's
it
no
out.
hits in that
Yep.
song, then you know darn well. Boom.
Absolutely.
Yep. Sorry. Next one up.
Yeah, and I'm sure.
Yeah. Hopefully we hear "Bad to the
Hopefully,
Bone" all year
from
long.
opening day on, it sticks, and you have
Yes. Yeah.
exactly.
That. Hopefully that's it.
Yeah, and it's
There you
actually
go.
got a little dog theme as well. Bad to the bone. With
Hmm.
the bones for the doggies. Um, do you collect anything? Do you have any special things that you collect?
I'm a bat nerd. Yeah, I
Bat
love
nerd.
bats. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to compile a collection of guys like in this guys that I play against that I respect and are just good people, good opponents that are. But I think my two favorites right now are three: Joey Votto, Miggy Cabrera, and then Albert Pujols. So like,
Can
I
you
think
give us
those are my
the
my
the
three
the
favorites right
number?
now.
What number? What
Got to
does Joey
get.
Votto swing? What did he? What bat? What is his? Like C271, M110. What did he swing? What does he? What did he swing?
He's
His
So
own, right?
he
Yeah, yeah,
swings a Marucci. But it's his specific model. Yeah. So same with Albert. He swings a Marucci. I
yeah.
mean, now I'm pretty sure everyone knows this. It's the AP5. Um, and then Miggy has his own
Okay.
model with
Not modeled
Sambat.
off of any of the old Louisville Slugger
We
numbers.
got to get a.
Their own specific specs.
No,
Right.
no. I mean, I'm sure like there's like similarities,
Yep.
but I
Yep.
mean, these things are like tailored suits now.
We got to get Joey Votto signed. He's been out there on Instagram. I see making all these funny videos about his last one. I'm not going to put the shopping cart back if you don't sign me, guys. Somebody, he's hilarious.
That's funny.
Yeah. All right, real quick, for the last of the quick pitches, are you a window or aisle seat guy, or do you get your own row because you're the polar bear?
No, I honestly I think the aisle, like definitely the aisle.
Okay. Best arm that you've seen from a position player in your years of playing. Not a pitcher. Outfield arm or third base, whatever it might be.
Jesus. That's a really good question. I think
That was one
Yoenis
of your guys, right,
Cespedes in
Casey?
There
his
you go.
prime. He's
That was my Mount Rushmore had Yo on it. For that. Yeah.
and then Javi Baez has an absolute hand cannon.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I think those two guys.
Yeah. Okay. I love it. Best power hitter in Major League Baseball besides Pete Alonso.
I mean this one's pretty easy. I think I'm gonna say Aaron Judge.
It's fair.
Yeah. That is pretty
That's fair.
easy. So yeah, it's fair play. And then lastly, because there's a couple places I've heard it from, but let's go straight to the source. How did Polar Bear, the nickname, come about? I've heard two different names that have given it to you, and one was Todd Frazier, and the other one was Gary DiSarcina. Let's hear it from the source.
Oh, it was Todd.
Okay,
Yeah,
so Todd,
Gary
and
adopted it for sure. I will say um, Gary probably like spread it. He did the spreading of it, but Todd came up with it.
got it. So
I'm not
Todd,
going to knock Gary because Gary was a part of he was a part of like the
Is there a
spreading
reasoning?
and
yep.
like, oh yeah,
Is there a
that's
reasoning,
yeah,
Polar Bear?
polar bear Pete. Yeah, it's polar bear. No, I
Oh,
guess it just fit right from the beginning. I'm just happy that like my nickname
I like it that
wasn't
it's the
anything
bear,
stupid
obviously, because
or
you're a big, strong guy, and then Polar
so.
Bear is
yeah.
kind of like cool, calm, and collected. I think that kind of fits you a little bit.
Yeah, or also like I think is like I mean, so Todd was my locker mate, and I didn't really get a lot of sun, so I probably blinded him.
That makes sense too.
Blinded him. Yeah.
Well, Pete, I want to thank you so much. That's going to wrap up quick pitches. The good questions that I believe you gave the great answers that we could have had. So thank you for that. That's going to wrap up episode 27. Pete, again, I want to thank you sincerely and graciously as I can for joining us on the Shaylo podcast. We know you are a busy guy, so to take out over an hour of your time, I cannot say thank you enough.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. I thank you for having me on, and glad I could come on. Glad it worked out.
Bill, any final words from
Well,
you before I
same thing,
ask
man. Just really a
Pete the
pleasure
same
for you to
thing?
take your time out in a tough time of the year, busy time of the year, and just want to wish you the best of luck this year. And again, thanks a lot for what you're going to be doing with hopefully hitting those 300 home runs, like Casey said, to give out the money for a tremendous cause. And just the best of luck this year to you and the ball club.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Any final thoughts, words to the fans that are listening on YouTube or where we get our audio
There we go.
platforms on?
LFGM.
There it is. That's perfect. Perfectly said. So, with that being said, the perfect way to sign off for Stephen White, Bill Pulsifer, the polar bear himself, Pete Alonso. My name is Casey Lynn. Until next time, thank you for watching / listening the Say Hello podcast.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Peace.